Hello Crafty Llamas! Today I'm going to be showing you how to do the double crochet, or in terms of UK that is known as a treble crochet. I've got my 4mm HiyaHiya needle and I've got some yarn that I found in a box that I'm just going to be using. It looks around a double knit sort of weight, which is why I'm using my 4mm needle. I'm also, later on, I'm going to be using my Clover darning needles, and then I've got my trusty HiyaHiya unicorn scissors for when I need them as well. Right, so we're going to start with a slip stitch or a slip knot. So once again, you just around your fingers like that. I make a little gap between my fingers and then just pull that through like so, and then you have got yourself a slip knot just like that you can then just slip onto your hook. So we're going to be chaining 15 to begin with, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So to chain, all you do is you yarn over and pull that through, yarn over, pull through, and you just keep doing that until you've got your 15. That is your starting chain of 15. You'll then want to chain a further 2 stitches, and that will be for your turning chain. So that gives you the height of the stitches that you're going to be doing. So if you chain a further 2, you'll then have a starting chain of 17 stitches in total. Okay, so the double crochet is quite a tall stitch. What you'll want to do is you want to yarn over, and then in the 3rd stitch from your hook, 1, 2, 3, go into that, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, and then pull through the last 2 hoops on your hook. And then you just keep doing that. So yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Just like so. So yarn over, in, yarn over, through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Like so. My yarn's got a bit stuck there. Cool. Pop that in the corner. So yarn over, into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through your last 2. So as you can see, it's a little bit of a taller stitch. I'll bring that up, and it's a little bit gappier. So I've got my single crochet swatch here, and you can see this is quite a tight stitch, not really that much room, whereas this one, there's kind of little gaps in between. As you kind of work it up, you'll be able to see more what I'm talking about. So I'll keep going to the end of the row so you can see. So that is the end of my first row. I'm just going to pull my hook out there, so I've got a nice tall loop just so that I don't pull any back. Pull that through, and then I can show you kind of confidently without risking losing any stitches. So this is what you'll have after your first row, like so. So it's quite a tall stitch in comparison to your last one, and it does have those kind of gaps in between. So once again, to count your stitches to make sure you've got the right number, you can just count the V's along the top. With double crochet, it is easier also to just count the stitches. So obviously each kind of little column that you've got there is 1. You 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there is your 15 stitches. So your turning chain with double crochet is churning chain of 2. So you want to chain 2, swivel that round like that, and then you yarn over into the 3rd chain on your hook, 2, 3, so into there. So once again, that's just straight under the V, like in the last video. Here we go, under the V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2, just like so. So yarn over, in through the V, yarn over, like that. So yarn over, hook under the V, pull 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Just like so, and so just keep doing that until you get to the end of your row. So there, I've got to the end of my row. I've counted my stitches and I've got 15. So I'm nice and happy with that. So all I'm going to do is I'm now going to do my turning chain, which is again chain 2, turn it, and into the 3rd chain from your hook. You need to yarn over first. So yarn over into the 3rd chain from your hook, yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And you just keep doing that. And that is your double crochet or your UK treble crochet. Once again, it is really handy just to make sure you've got a conversion chart handy between UK and US terms. And just to make sure you check your pattern for what terminology it's using. It can become very confusing quite quickly between the 2 kind of sets of terms because they both kind of sound the same. Both have got double crochets, treble crochets, so it is rather confusing at times. And you don't want to have to kind of redo a project because you've used the wrong style of stitch, which, trust me, I have done several times. Over time as well, you'll get used to recognising your doubles and trebles and your single crochets, and you'll be able to kind of tell what the pattern is actually using from photos. So it will become easier with time. In the meantime, these swatches are really handy for helping you figure out what the stitches are, and just really handy to help you learn as well. Just make sure you keep that tail end of your yarn out of the way. And there we are, that's the end of the 3rd row. So as you can see, this is quite a tall stitch in comparison. So in one of my previous videos, I did a swatch of single crochet or UK double crochet, which you can see here. And then in comparison, this is 3 rows, whereas I think this one is approximately 2, 4, about 6 rows. So it's twice the height, kind of makes sense since it's a double rather than a single crochet. And so it's about twice the height as the other stitches, so it does work up a lot faster. But it is just that little bit gappier than your single crochet that you can see here. Right, so I've just done the end of my 3rd row, so I'm just going to go on to my 4th. So once again, you've just got your turning chain of 2. So I've chained 2, turn that round, yarn over, hook in under the V of the 3rd chain from your hook, pull 3, yarn over, pull through 2. Oops, I've just done 3 there. And then pull through the last 2, like so. And just carry on. So the nice thing about these hooks from HiyaHiya is that they're very lightweight. They just glide through your crochet, which is really, really nice. They're really slick, and they've also got a really nice little flat section here that you can see for you to hold on to. So it allows you to get a really, really kind of good grip on your hook, and it's really, really comfortable. I tend to prefer aluminium hooks to wooden hooks. I find them a little bit smoother. Everyone's slightly different though. When I first started using aluminium hooks, I thought they'd be a little bit cold to the touch, and I wasn't sure how well I'd get on with them, but actually I found them to be really, really nice, and they warm up quite quickly, so you never actually it's never too cold to the touch, but also they don't get so warm. It's not like they get roasting by any means. So they're really nice to work with. I also do like working with ones with kind of ergonomic handles as well, something that's got a bit of a soft touch to it that can help prevent cramping in your hands. But it very much does depend on what sort of crocheter you are as to which hooks you will prefer working with. So it's always nice to kind of try out a couple and see what you get on with most. I know a lot of people with kind of reduced dexterity quite like the ergonomic hooks as they help provide a little bit more support, and they're just a little bit softer to the touch. So that is the end of my 4th row, just like that. So you can see once again I've got the V's along the top, which is nice. That's what it looks like down. This yarn is really, really nice. I wish I knew what it was, because that way I'd be able to tell you. But it's got a really nice speckled effect, and it's a lovely shade of purple. So I'm a big fan. So once again, just chain 2 for your turning chain. 1, 2. And when you're turning, I always do it clockwise. So your kind of working piece turns that way, the kind of clockwise direction. You can turn it the other way. I think it just feels weird doing it that way. It just, yeah, I don't know why. I always kind of do it clockwise. If you're quite new to crochet, it might be a nice idea as well to place a stitch marker in the top of your first stitch, just to help you recognise where it is at the edge. Because you've got your kind of turning chain and stuff, it can sometimes be a little bit confusing. So if you do want to do that, you can. We've got our nice little llama stitch markers here, so if you did want to do that, you would just place that, pull that up for a sec, pop that down in that first V, which can be seen there. So you can just pop that in there, just to help remind you that that is the first one of your round. There we go. I normally use stitch markers when I am working on a circular project in the round. I find it helps me remember things a little bit better. I find that if I'm working on flat pieces, I don't tend to need it as much. But once again, it just kind of depends what sort of knitter or crochet you are as to how you like to mark it. I would say if you are going to do an amigurumi project, which is the Japanese style of crochet to make kind of plush toys and stuff, you will want several stitch markers just to help you kind of with rounds and stuff. And it's kind of really important when you're doing amigurumi to kind of keep a track of how many stitches you have and the start of your round, because it was all done in the spiral, so it's not one of those where the start of your round is that distinguishable. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting some stitch markers if you're going to take on amigurumi. Some patterns also call for stitch markers. They'll say like place a marker here and things like that. So it's always handy to have some around no matter what you're working on. So I'm just going to show you, I'm about halfway through the square now, so I'm just going to show you how easy it is actually to count the rows when you're doing double crochet. It's a lot easier than when you're doing single crochet. So if I bring this up, here we go. What you can see is because the stitch is taller, it is easier to see. So each kind of tall stitch you can see, there we go. So you've got 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I'm currently on my 6th row. So if I bring out my single crochet swatch that I did in another video, you can see, here we go, we're kind of about halfway, a little bit over. So it does knit up a lot quicker. I'm using a slightly smaller hook and thinner yarn, but it's almost about the same sort of size. It's a little bit shorter in length, so I won't have too many more to do. So I'm just going to carry on with my double crochet, and I will come back to you in the last couple rows. So I'm just joining you at the end of my swatch for my double crochet or UK treble crochet. I've just cut the end of my yarn, so I've left a nice long tail, and all we're going to do is yarn over and pull through to secure that last stitch. So if you pull that nice and tight, there we are. And the next thing that you want to do is you just want to sew in your ends. So I've got my Clover darning needles here. I've just got the standard set, which comes with 3 needles in various sizes, so they're really handy for kind of all of your kind of crochet and knitting needs. I'm going to be using the largest one for this. So there we are. And you're just going to want to weave in your ends. I've shown you how to weave in your ends at the end of the last video, so I won't talk you through this one. I'll just kind of quickly pop through it now, and that way you can just check our other videos for how to do that. Obviously with larger projects, for example like jumpers or crop tops or anything like that you make, you'll want to weave in a little bit more thoroughly than I'm doing here. I'm just doing it quickly. And then once again, HiyaHiya scissors, just chop that nice and there, nice and close so you don't have your tail sticking out, and then just pop to the other end of your work, and do the same on that side. Right, so I've just finished weaving in my ends. So this is my swatch for our double crochet or our UK treble crochet. I'll show you my single crochet one that I did in my previous video. So here we are, here are the two swatches next to each other, about the same sort of size. So if you did want to make a blanket, you can out of all your different swatches. They also complement each other quite nicely, so nice and handy. So yeah, as you can see, it is a little bit gappier than the last one. It's just got a little bit more space. But this is a really good stitch for kind of autumnal wear, as it's not too thick, whereas you kind of use single crochet is quite thick. So do like, subscribe and share this video. We've also got social media. You can find us on Pinterest, Instagram and Facebook if you search Crafty Llama UK. And all the products I've used today, excluding the yarn, can be bought on our Etsy shop, which is Crafty Llama UK. I will see you later, Crafty Llamas.